The man absent-mindedly glanced at the spoon in his hand, suddenly falling into deep thought. Seeing that the prison guard wasn't paying attention, a bold idea flashed through his mind. He casually lowered his head and deliberately rubbed the spoon on the sole of his shoe. Then he called the guard over, acting like nothing was wrong. When the guard approached, the man claimed the spoon was too dirty and asked for a new one. Coincidentally, his accomplice also happened to ask the guard a question about their work. The guard assumed it was just a coincidence and didn't think much of it. Little did the guard know that his tiny oversight would go down as one of the biggest embarrassments in the prison's history. At the front desk, the man calmly handed over the dirty spoon to the guard. He calmly grabbed a clean one. Meanwhile, the guard's attention was completely distracted by the chatty accomplice. However, no one noticed that the man had secretly pocketed 2 spoons. This seemingly insignificant item was about to become the key to his escape. Back in his cell, the man couldn't wait to get started. First, he placed a bundle of matches inside a tin box. Next, he snapped the spoon in half, dismantled a nail clipper, and began filing down a coin to collect aluminum powder. He then combined the spoon handle with a piece of the clipper and carefully sprinkled aluminum powder on top. After everything was ready, he turned off the light and set the matches on fire inside the tin box. The aluminum powder burned with intense heat, successfully welding the metals together. When everything cooled down, his jailbreak tool was complete. Wasting no time, the man quickly put the tin box back on the shelf, moved a crate away from the wall, and laid his coat on the floor. After doing all this, he eagerly tested his new tool. As expected, it worked several times faster than before. The man could see the progress and sped up his work, completely forgetting about the outside world. Little did he know danger was creeping closer. At that moment, his lookout had dozed off. At the last second, another prisoner randomly got up to chat with the guard. This small distraction was enough to wake up the sleepy lookout. He immediately tried to whistle to warn the man, but after several failed attempts, he realized he didn't know how to whistle. As the guard's footsteps grew louder, his partner resorted to banging a cup against the bars. Finally, the man heard the noise, quickly covered the vent with the crate, and flushed the debris down the toilet. He managed to lie back down on his bed just as the guard arrived. Luckily, the guard didn't notice anything unusual. Instead of leaving right away, he started complaining about how hard his job was. The man, terrified, realized he had left the escape tool on the floor due to his panic. He had no choice but to stay calm and chat with the guard. Once the guard finally left, the man let out a long sigh of relief. He thought to himself, "Thank goodness for my quick thinking, I almost blew it." The man had his partner keep watch while he resumed chipping away at the wall. After 1,001 strikes, the iron grate covering the vent was fully exposed. He thought he was about to succeed, but no matter how hard he tried, the iron grate wouldn't budge. It was then that he noticed 2 iron hooks securing the grate, forcing him to pause his escape attempt. The next day, while heading to work on the sewing machine, he scattered the debris from the night before along the corridor. While working, the man spotted a sharp metal-tipped wedge. A bold idea flashed in his mind. Ignoring his partner's warnings, the man secretly pocketed the wedge. But as he was leaving, the unexpected happened. The guard questioned him, and the man quickly showed him the wedge, claiming he was going to make a coat hook. The guard didn't buy it. He confiscated the wedge and searched the man again, but found nothing, and finally let him go. What the guard didn't know was that the man had hidden a second wedge in his shoe. The first one was merely a diversion. With the right tool in hand, the man immediately turned off the light, placed the wedge in the hook, and carefully stepped back. He slowly placed his foot on it, putting all his strength into his left leg, and kicked the wedge with all his might. The iron grate was successfully removed by the man. He eagerly pushed his head through and, as expected, found it led directly to the top of the prison, giving him hope. Next, if he could avoid the guards' patrols and quietly expand the opening, he would be able to escape in no time. However, every cell is so small that if a prisoner goes missing, the guards would notice immediately. To be absolutely safe, the man came up with another clever plan. He first wet some newspaper and mixed wall dust with water to make clay. He made a simple vent cover and even sculpted a head that resembled his own. During this time, his accomplices kept busy, each taking turns to prepare for the escape according to his instructions. To make it more realistic, he borrowed paint and brushes from his partners and painted the vent cover. Then he took out the sculpted head and covered it with flesh-colored paint. Moreover, during his watch time, he managed to buy hair that matched his own from a prisoner barber. Using a mirror, he applied eyebrows and hair to the figure, creating a convincing fake head. Once everything was ready, the man quickly crawled through and covered the opening with the fake vent cover. Next, he climbed up the pipe. But as he reached the rooftop, an unexpected incident occurred. A guard happened to pass by, and the man was terrified, barely daring to move. He feared that even the slightest movement might attract the guard's attention. Fortunately, he wasn't spotted and managed to reach the rooftop. But soon he faced a bigger problem. There was a barrier at the top, and even more discouraging, the only iron grate was extremely high. Even with the man's towering 2.5-meter height, he felt like a dwarf in front of it. As he struggled to find a solution, little did he know that danger was slowly approaching.